Hello, Shalom Aleichem. We have a nice thing here for you. Learn Pirkei Avos like never before. It's called Achazek. Let's take a look at it right now. Learn Pirkei Avos like never before. And it's called Achazek. 1 second. Let me get to it. Here. I'll just see which page we're talking about. This is Achazek Shurim, available in English, Hebrew, Yiddish, and Spanish for men, women, and children. So it's called Hachazek, Daily Musar Impact. So this is Hachazek.com, Hachazek@gmail.com, Shir hotline 516-6000-8080. So it comes with, this is, they sent this over here, Pirkei Avos, with Rabenu Yonah. So one can learn, and it's got a English translation, Pirkei Avos with Rabenu Yonah. Rabenu Yonah was the one that compiled the Shari Teshuvah, the gates of repentance. So that's like some nice musar, and so it comes with this schedule. One can learn a Mishnah of the Pirkei Avos a day. Let's take a look. Here we can try this one here, number 50, page 50. And so this is Mishnah 16. I think that's the one. Let's take a look at it. 1 second. Okay. So anyway, let's do this. We'll do Mishnah Yud Zayin. That's Mishnah 17. Mishnah Yud Zayin, where's that? That's right over here. Mishnah Yud Zayin, on the bottom. And that's from the first chapter. Let's take a look. Shimon Beno Omer. Let's take a look at what the Mishnah says. So it comes in both Hebrew and English, and it's with the Perush of Rabenu Yonah. That's Rabenu Yonah of Gerona, the Baal Shari Teshuvah. Shimon Beno Omer. Shimon, his son said. Shimon Beno, the son of, who was he the son of? Of Rabban Gamliel. Rabban Gamliel had said, Hoya Omer, Asi lecha Rav, make for yourself a mentor. V'histalek min hasofek, v'al tarbe la'aser amudos. So let's see. Make for yourself a mentor and keep away from doubt. If you make yourself a mentor, you will keep away from doubt. And do not give tithes in excess by estimating. Don't give extra by estimating. One should be very precise with the tithes, with the tithing, with the meiser. Anyway, Shimon Beno Omer. Shimon, the son of Rabban Gamliel, said, that's this Mishnah, Kol Yomai Gadalti Bein HaChachamim. All of my days, Shimon his son said, all of my days, I grew up among the sages, and I found nothing as good for the body as silence. V'lo matzasi laguf tov elo shtiko, and I found nothing as good for the body as silence. V'lo hamedrash hu ha'ikar elo hama'aseh. And it is not the study that is the main thing, but the actions. The actions are the main things, not the study. We should study for learning to do the right thing. Below hamedrash hu ha'ikar elo hama'aseh. V'chol hamarbe devarim maybe chait. One who speaks too much brings on sin. Let's see the Ivra, the Hebrew. Shimon Beno Omer. Shimon, his son, said, the son of Rabban Gamliel, Kol Yomai Godalti Bein HaChachamim. All of my days I have grown up among the Chachamim, among the sages. Ra'isi v'hevinosi b'chol hamidos hachashuvos. I have seen and I have understood all of the very chashuv, the very important good midos, characteristics to have, because he grew up among the Chachamim. And Rabban Shimon says, I have not found something which is as good for the body, but shtika, silence. Okay, so mishtika. And then here, this is Rabenu Yonah is giving this explanation. Kavar Perish Rabenu Moshe Zal, the Inyan Hashtika. The Rambam, Rabenu Moshe ben Maimon, has already explained the Inyan Hashtika, the Inyan, the topic of shtika, of being silent. Ki b'dibur sheyesh la'adam nezek, with talk that a person can do damage, God forbid, bo mikol sad, from any angle, from any side. O im yesh bo revach mitzad echod vehezek mitzad acher, or even if let's say it's okay from one side, but it can make a damage from the other side. Lo hutzrach Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel lahazir bazeh. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel did not have to warn us about this. Ki kol adam yizayir mimeno, because every person will be careful not to say these things. This is according to this. The Rambam says this. Im shomer nafsho mitzora. If he wants to keep himself from bad things, so he won't say these things. If he's not worried about keeping himself from tzara, from the bad things, from bad situations, God forbid, so then he might say anything that comes into his mind. But even things that there is no damage at all, he'll say things that are not damaging at all. V'kolo revach, everything is okay, everything is profitable. Kemo shemedaber ba'asokov, he's talking about his business dealing, u'batzorech gufo u'parnasoso, things that have to do with his things that he needs physically, u'parnasoso, or his making a living. Tzarich lema'et v'dibur, one should try to minimize one's talking. V'shelo ya'arich bo elo kedei sipuko, and he shouldn't one shouldn't lengthen his talking in these things, except what one needs to talk about the things, the bare minimum. So we should talk the bare minimum of the very necessary talk. Ve'ein tzorech lomar b'davar shel hevel she'eino ma'aleh v'lo morid. Let's see what it says in the English. And but there is speech that is completely harmless and in fact profitable, such as conversation related to business or employment. Even this type of talk should be kept to a minimum, saying only what is necessary. Certainly one should not speak nonsense, which has no positive benefit at all. We don't have to talk about that one does not have to talk about nonsense, which does not have any positive. We should not talk about that. We should mention it at all. It says in the Yerushalmi, Barachos Aleph, page 2. Amar, like it says in the Gemara Brachos, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish said, Ilo haveinu betura de Sinai bo'ino terei pumei. Like Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish said, if I would have been at Mount Sinai, I would have asked God to create us with two mouths, one for learning Torah and one for mundane matters. I later realized that now, with only one mouth, people can't save themselves from gossip and forbidden speech. How much more so if they would have two mouths? So in other words, if we would have had two mouths, so we would have been able to make much more gossip and forbidden speech. So in other words, so he realized that one mouth is quite enough. So use your mouth. So this is what he learns from this. Use your mouth only for words of Torah. Use your mouth only for words of Torah and wisdom, and not for foolish chatter. Let's see this in the Ivrit, in the Hebrew. So then, Hashta Leslon Elachad Lo Yachilna Lameitzel Nafshe Melishna Bisha. Ilo Havina Betura the Sinai, if I would have been in Har Sinai, in the Mount of Sinai, Ba'ina Terei Pumei, he would have asked for two mouths. In other words, to separate the mundane from the learning of Torah and the davening and the tefillah. Hadar Omar. Then later on he said, Hashta de Leslon Elachad Lo Yachilna Lameitzel Nafshi Melishana Bisha. He realized that now that we have one tongue, one mouth, we're not able to save ourselves from forbidden speech. People can't save themselves from gossip and forbidden speech. Kol shekain, certainly, certainly if we would have had two mouths, so then there would be much more opportunity to speak forbidden speech. Ritzono lomar lo yedaber bepeh ela divrei Torah v'divrei seichel. So in other words, this is an allegory to teach us what he wants to say, meaning that we should not speak with our mouths. The only thing we should speak is divrei Torah, words of Torah, divrei seichel, things that make a lot of sense. V'lo devarim, common sense. V'lo devarim shel hevlei olam, not things of nonsense, not nonsensical things. Shahoyu hachachamim hakadoshim osim atzmon kechlei shores. The chachamim, the wise men, the holy wise men, used to make themselves like a very holy vessel, She'ein meisimin bohem devarim shel chol. They didn't do anything that was secular for mundane purposes. Everything was holy. Their mouths dedicated to Torah study do not speak about worldly matters. So we can try to strive for this. It's not. These are talking about very, very holy people. We can try. This is saying that we should try to strive for this. This is not everybody reaches these high levels, so we can try to strive the best we can for this. These are ideals that we can try to strive for. Shelo yedaber bepeh ela divrei Torah v'divrei seichel v'lo devarim shel havlei olam. So we should, now that we have, he realizes we have only one mouth, we should talk divrei Torah v'divrei seichel, things that make a lot of sense, in other words, things that are seichel that we can learn from. V'lo devarim shel havlei olam, not things of mundane purposes. Shayu hachachamim hakadoshim osim atzmam kechlei shores. She'ein mesimin bohem devarim shel chol. The holy wise men used to make themselves like a holy vessel. They didn't use it for anything for mundane purposes. Kach lo hayu motziim mipiyim. So the same thing, they didn't let any words go out of their mouth except for devarim shel. They did not let any devarim shel chol, any secular things go past from their mouths. V'hainu diamrinan begemara devina ma'arava devanei ma'arava. This is what it says in the Gemara. The Bnei Ma'arava, we find this elsewhere. The mouth dedicated to Torah study do not speak about worldly matters. We find this idea elsewhere in the Jerusalem Talmud. All chatter is bad except for chatter of Torah. That the people from the west, Yerushalmi, Sham, Tesches, Kol Patita Bishin Bar Mipatitia Diaraisa Tav. All chatter is bad. All chatter is bad except for chatter of Torah. We should try to do the chatter of Torah. We should try to think about what it says in the Torah and talk about the Torah. There's so many things to learn about in the Torah that we can try to... Even the chatter can be from Torah. So it says in Yerushalmi, Kol Patitia Bishin, all kinds of chatter is... Bishin is bad. Bar mi patitia diaraisa, except for chatter of Torah. Tav. That's tav is like tov. It's good. When we chatter about Torah, that is good. V'yesh shegorsin. There's some people that say it like this. Kol kiravayo bishin. Bar mi kiravayo diaraiso tav. Others read the text as all plowing is bad, except for the plowing of Torah. All plowing is bad, except for the plowing of Torah. In other words, we should try to be thinking about the Torah, involved in the Torah. All the material matters and thoughts in which man engages in this world are empty and vain. Only Torah and mitzvos for the sake of God have true value. In other words, plowing is symbolic for one is trying to plumb the depths of the matter. And so in other words, that's what we're thinking about. It's symbolic for thinking about. Kol kiravaya, here we go. Kol kiravaya bishin. Bar mikiravaya diaraisa tav. Perish kiravaya. This is what it says. Perish kiravaya. The explanation of kiravaya is charisha. That's plowing. Ritzono lomar, he means to say, shekol advarim v'hamachashavos she'adam mishtadel bohem ba'olam hazeh hakol hevel u'ru'us ruach levad mimachashavos haTorah u'ma'aseh Hashem, Kinorahu. So let's see this in the English. We find this idea elsewhere in the Jerusalem Talmud. All chatter is bad, except for the chatter of Torah. Others read the text as, all plowing is bad, except for the plowing of Torah. All the material matters and thoughts, this is what it means. All the material matters and thoughts in which man engages in this world are empty and vain. Only Torah and mitzvos for the sake of God have true value. So only Torah and mitzvos for the sake of God, that has the true value. And then he said this also, V'lo ha-medrash ikar elo ha-ma'aseh. The learning is not the main thing, but the doing. In other words, one doesn't learn just to learn, one learns to do the mitzvos. Ritzono lomo, he wants to say, Shelo yilamed v'yidrosh ha-mitzvos la'acherim, Shelo yilamed v'yidrosh ha-mitzvos la'acherim, v'hu einenu oseh osam. He shouldn't be teaching and making a drasha, that he shouldn't be doing like learned discourses on the mitzvos for other people. V'hu einenu oseh osam. But he himself is not doing it. One is learning the doing of it for oneself. That's the main thing. If one is not doing it, what are we teaching it for others for? The main thing is to do it. Ach yaseh osam techila v'yalamdeim la'achirim. But one should one should do them first. And then we can teach them to others. Like the Chazal is Chachamenu Zichronim Levracha, our sages of blessed memory. Tosefta Yevamos Sof Perek Ches. Tosefta Yevamos. That Yevamos is the Sof Perek Ches, the end of Perek Ches. Beis Reish Lamedaled Chof. Yeah, okay. Noim devarim hayotzim mipi oseim. It's very pleasant words that come from the people that do them, that practice them. When if the one practices it, and then one is talking about this mitzvah, then it's very pleasant to hear. So okay, let's see what it says here. It is not the study that is the main thing. It is not the study that is the main thing, but the actions. Do not instruct others about mitzvos without actually fulfilling them yourself. First fulfill the commandments, and then teach them to others. We should try to fulfill the commandments first, to do the commandments, as our sages teach us. Words are pleasing when spoken by one who fulfills them. The sages teach us words are pleasing when spoken by one who fulfills them. That's note 127. Let's see. Let's take a look at 127. Here it is. We have notes in the back. Here it is. Tosefta Yevamos 8:7. So what does it said? What does it say? Noim devarim hayotzeim mipi oseim. That it's very pleasant. Words are pleasing when spoken by one who fulfills them. And then it says here, V'chol marbi devarim maybe chait. One who speaks too much brings on sin. Let's see what it says in the English. This refers to words of Torah. Do not get involved in a great deal of talk about your opinion on a halachic question. Instead, think the matter through carefully and answer after thorough deliberation. Because, quote, where there is excessive speech, there will be no shortage of sin. And let's see where it says that. That's 128. 128. So this is very thorough. It has notes. 128. Mishlei 10:19. Mishlei 10:19. Instead, think the matter through carefully and answer after thorough deliberation, because where there is excessive speech, there will be no shortage of sin. Otherwise, if you answer hastily, you will be convinced that you must be right, and your mistaken ruling will be the cause of transgression. We have to think things through. This statement immediately follows the one concerning Torah study, to teach us that we should never speak excessively, not even words of Torah. This is the parish of Rabenu Yonah. This is what he says. This statement immediately follows the one concerning Torah study, to teach us that we should never speak excessively, not even words of Torah. Otherwise, it would have followed the earlier statement. I found nothing as good for the body as silence, which refers to mundane matters as well. It is placed here because it also relates to words of Torah. So even regarding words of Torah, we should never speak excessively. V'chol marbi devarim maybe chait. Zehu inyan b'divrei Torah medaber. This is talking about words of Torah. One moment. Zehu inyan medaber b'divrei Torah medaber. The Rabenu Yonah says this is talking about the words of Torah. She'ein la'adam la'harbos devarim b'halacha. One should not say excessive words in the halacha. Elo yamtin v'yachshov mo sheyomar. One should wait, and he should think about what he is saying. V'yihu devaruv b'mishkol v'lo yemaher osam. He should measure his words, and he should not be very in a hurry to say them. Ki barov devarim lo yechtal posha. Where there is excessive speech, there will be no shortage of sin. And that's in Koheles. Mishlei. Oh, excuse me, Mishlei is Proverbs. That's in Proverbs. Mishlei. Ki barov devarim lo yechtal posha. Where there is excessive speech, there will be no shortage of sin. See, we shouldn't talk so. I spoke too quickly, so we had a mistake there. It's really Mishlei. That's Proverbs. V'yachshov ki hadavar kain hu v'yavi chet b'hora. If one speaks too fast, he'll think that this is the way it should be. V'yavi chet b'hora, and he might do a mistake in the psak halacha, in the figuring out of the halacha, and he might cause others to sin. Chas v'shalom, God forbid. V'yalkein acharo, al v'yalkein, therefore, echaro ladavar hazeh ad she'amro v'lo hamedrash hu ikar elo ha'maaseh shehu me'inyan ha'torah lo diaki b'divrei Torah hu. So therefore, that's why he waited until he was talking about v'lo hamedrash hu ikar elo ha'maaseh, that the learning is not the important thing, but the ma'aseh, but the action. Shehu me'inyan ha'torah, which is talking about the divrei Torah. Lo diaki b'divrei Torah hu. We're talking about divrei Torah. That's v'chol hamarbe devarim maybe chet. That one who does extra words, superfluous words, brings chet, brings sin. Chas v'shalom. So we're talking about even with divrei Torah. Shehu me'inyan ha'torah lehodiaki b'divrei Torah hu. They were talking about divrei Torah, about talking about Torah. Afgam zos she'ein lefarish oso. Even with divrei Torah, one shouldn't explain it b'divrei ha'olam. She'em kein haya lahem lismach osaveitel lo matzasi laguf tov mishtika. Because otherwise he could have said, Lo matzasi laguf tov mishtika. I found the best thing for the body is silence. So, and then after that, shekol amar v'devar maybe chet shu b'divrei ha'olam v'yomar miyad v'chol amar v'devar maybe chet ela b'vadai b'divrei Torah amru k'moshe perashnu. So this statement immediately follows the one concerning Torah study, to teach us that we should never speak excessively, not even words of Torah. Even words of Torah we shouldn't speak excessively. Otherwise it would have followed the earlier statement, I found nothing good for the body, as silence, which refers to mundane matters as well. It is placed here because it also relates to words of Torah. Let's take a look at the Mishnah again. Shimon, his son, says, all my days I grew up among the sages and found nothing as good for the body as silence. So then over there he could have said, one who speaks too much brings on sin. But no, he did it after this. It is not the study that is the main thing, but the actions. It's not the study that is the main thing, but the actions. And then he wrote, one who speaks too much brings on sin. So in other words, we're talking, even with the study of Torah, so in other words, he's not talking about just talking, stamazoi, just plain talking. He's talking about even the words of Torah. We shouldn't talk excessively. It is not the study that is the main thing, but the actions. And then one who speaks too much brings on sin. And here's the Hebrew, the Ivrit. Shimon beno Omar, Kol Yomai Gadalti ben HaChachamim. Shimon, his son of Rabben Gamliel, said, all of my days I have been grown up among the Chachamim, the very wise people, the Torah scholars. So therefore he knows what's good, what's the good characteristics. And I have not found what the best thing for the body except for silence. In other words, to talk to a minimum. And it's not the learning that is the main thing, but it's the ma'aseh, it's the doing of the learning. It's the doing of the mitzvahs, of the halachos. And whoever talks excessively brings on sin. So they're talking about halachos. In other words, one talks what one needs to talk to get the halacha to be known, not excessively. And this is Mishnah Yud Zayin. This is Mishnah 17. So this is a very good thing they came out with. If you want to get a copy of this is Pirkei Avos im Rabenu Yonah. This is with the English translation. This is the Pirkei Avos with the Perush of Rabenu Yonah, and that's Hachsek. So you go on the computer. This is Hachsek, Shurim available in English, Hebrew, Yiddish. This is at hachsek.com, hachsek@gmail.com, Shir hotline, and you have all these different rabbis. If one wants to, one can hear Shurim by these various rabbis. And so this is a very good thing that came out. Thank you. Yeshikayach, thank you for listening and for learning. Kol Tuv, Hatzlacha.